I'm John Hanna for CDTV.net, and we have Brian Basilico, the president of B2B.
Yep.
There you go. So, Brian, give us a little bit of a background about yourself.
Sure. Well, I've been running businesses for a long time. I actually started my first business in my father's basement running a recording studio. And then from there I went to work for AT&T doing video production and editing and producing, and went on to do internet marketing, CD-ROM development, all different kinds of things. And B2B's been around for about 10 years, and its focus is on using all the latest tools, websites, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all those kind of things, to help drive traffic to people's websites and generate business. So that's essentially what my business is about.
All right, and the name of the business?
The name of the business is B2B Interactive Marketing Inc.
All right. So, let's talk about your upcoming book. It's not
hmm
about you. It
It's
sounds like somebody's being dumped somewhere, right?
Yeah, no, no, it's not so much that. But one of the things that happens, I teach a lot of classes, I give a lot of presentations, and this book is a culmination of all of those things. And what it boils down to is, in the old days of marketing, advertising was pretty much, you're always talking about yourself and you're broadcasting it out to a whole bunch of people, and you're hoping for that 1 or 2% return on your investment where people actually call and book either your business or buy something from you in your store, whatever it is. It's not about you, it's really talking about the new wave of communicating, which is all of these tools, and how you need to engage people in order to get them to either buy from you or trust you enough to be able to broadcast your messages to spread it out across the world to make you more relevant. So that's really what the book is about.
Okay. Now, let's get into some strategies within the book.
hmm Well, the first strategy I would talk about is getting to know how the internet works. And one of the core strategies that I talk about is a website is kind of a cornerstone of any online marketing campaign, system, technique, whatever you do. So the key thing is looking at, how does your website actually talk to people? And do you have a call to action that drives people to do what you want them to do? Most websites, and this is true across the board. I work with one-page websites all the way to 1,000-page websites. The average website gets about 3 clicks and 2 minutes. That's the amount of attention that you get out of the average user. If they can't find what they want really quickly, they move on to the next site. If you distract them, they move on to the next site. If you let them click off your site, they go to the next site. So the strategy is how do I get people to get to my site and do what I want them to do? And ultimately, it's to create a phone call or an email. One of the things I always say is there's never been a website in the history of the world that has ever made a sale that's not e-commerce. It always takes a person. It always takes some personal contact. So once you understand that, then utilizing all the social media that's sitting out there makes a lot more sense. Does that help?
Yes, yes. Now, with regards to the call to action, should you have your phone number or your buy here now button on top of the web page, middle, or at the bottom?
Always at the top.
Always at
And
the top.
I'm a huge proponent of at least having the phone number at the top of the page if that's what you do. If you're not one of those kind of companies that is trying to generate phone calls or personal interaction and you're trying to generate sales with a buy now button, then, maybe it's not the best thing for you. But most of the companies I work with have people that pick up the phone. So if that's your goal, is to get people to pick up the phone, why would you not want to put that phone number, the contact information at the very top? The call to action button really depends on what your expectations of people are when they come to your site. In most cases, it's going to take 1, 2, or 3 clicks to get to that button. And what it boils down to is, when you get to the home page, does it interest them? Is it relevant? Is the message something that they can relate to? And do you give them the opportunity to dig a little deeper and find some more information? What happens on a lot of landing pages is they have this big scrollable thing with testimonials and pictures and all that other stuff. And sometimes that can be effective, but more often than not, getting somebody to another page that targets exactly what they're looking for and then placing a call to action button at the top of that is a place where you're going to get the best reaction.
Okay, yeah, I've seen a lot of those pages. Pretty much, they're I call it the landing zones
Right.
for SEO produced web pages. But
Hmm.
then again, I look at those web pages. They have like 100 testimonials, and at the end would be their call to action.
Right.
That's a big no-no, right?
Well, in my book, it's a big no-no because again, going back to that basic, you have 3 clicks in 2 minutes. If it takes somebody more than 2 minutes to read everything that's sitting on your page, chances of them getting down to that button and actually clicking it are slim.
Ah.
So that's why if you can give them a compelling argument, if you're familiar with newspapers and what's called above the fold, all right, when you get a newspaper, it's folded in half, and of course the headlines are all sitting at the top, and then the advertising and the stuff is sitting at the bottom. What you're hoping is that somebody's actually going to be interested enough on that top portion to flip the paper open to read what happens below it. It's the same principle inside of a web page. If you have really good, compelling information in that top third, or whatever the size of the page is, and the call to action button is clear and they've read that, they may click that button and do the call to action. If you make them dig for it, the chances of success diminish immensely.
There you go. So 3 clicks, 2 minutes.
Right.
Okay. So bottom line is that they need to be concise with their landing pages, right?
Absolutely. In my estimation, being concise and being compelling in a very short period of time is huge. I'll give you another example. You love getting those emails that come out that have this diatribe that have like 15,000 words in them, right? You have nothing better to do than to read that entire thing when
Right.
okay. If you're incredibly interested in that email, you may save it, but the chances of you going back to it and actually reading it are slim. So that's why when you do email marketing, you want to have just 3 very simple call to action buttons. Here's story A, here's story B, here's story C, and drive them to that web page. But it has to be concise and compelling, for them to create that action. Once you get them to that page, then again, you don't want to make them read 15,000 words. You want to give them the story, the pitch, the features and benefits in a very clear, concise message that makes them want to get more information or purchase the product. And what happens a lot of time is people spend so much time talking about themselves, they lose the fact that people are not willing to invest that much time in them. And that's where it's all about you comes from. It's really about, or it's not about you, it's all about the people that you're talking to. How do you put it in terms, in words, and vernacular, and all of those things that's going to get them to get emotionally charged about what you're talking about and take action?
Okay. Before we wrap up the part one of the two-part interview with you, where can
Mhm.
people find you?
The best place to find me is at my website. It has all my information, including my phone number at the top. And the website is www.b2b-im.com. That's B, the number 2B, minus sign, im.com.
Okay. This concludes the part one of the interview. Thanks for listening.